If you know, you know. And y'all know I've been preaching that Errol Spence ain't ducking Terrence, and Terrence ain't ducking Errol either. It's just the business that came in between. And for PBC on one side, they building up Errol. They could make him into a pay-per-view star by giving him the right fights, like the Manny Pacquiao's, the big names in the welterweight division, which they have all of them except to Terrence Crawford. However, on the other hand, ESPN, they really have nobody. And then Bob Arum talking about he won a 50-50 split, which is not reasonable for Errol Spence versus Crawford, because we all know who the A side is. It's a no-brainer. And I'm not really trying to get into the politics and the A side, B side stuff. However, when a guy sells 400,000 pay-per-view and packs a 47,000 arena, their first time being on pay-per-view, which is Errol Spence, and you got another guy who you could combine all his pay-per-view fights, which is only probably 2, he still haven't topped that. And Amir Khan been on pay-per-view before. Mikey Garcia was his first time. So Errol Spence fighting Sean Porter, that fight on pay-per-view. Meanwhile, Crawford, his next opponent, most likely wouldn't be on pay-per-view. Obviously, he don't have the name. Like maybe if he would have fought Danny Garcia, then Crawford could have been on pay-per-view. But like I said, ESPN don't have the resources to make Crawford a pay-per-view attraction. Now, Bob Arum asking 50-50 for that fight is kind of ridiculous, because like I stated, by the time Errol Spence gets to fight Terrence Crawford, he will be the A side like 100%. You can't even dispute that, I don't know how you could dispute that now, but, to each your own. Now, Crawford responded to a fan who claimed that Errol Spence is ducking him, and he stated, Errol Spence ain't ducking me. It's basically the business aspect of it. And the fact that it ain't just PBC, it's Bob Arum too. He don't want to cooperate by making a crazy offer that's not reasonable. On top of that, ESPN got Errol Spence beating Terrence Crawford in the welterweight division as far as ranking. Forget their own fighters like a Lomachenko. They got PBC fighters beating Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, if they're trying to be credible, respect to that. But if you're trying to be credible all the way, why you got Lomachenko over a Crawford in the pound for pound list when it's Terrence Crawford all the way? Why y'all got Lomachenko number 1 when we all know it's Crawford? But like I stated time and time again, that's why Terrence Crawford, ESPN and Top Rank, because they don't got his best interest, first of all. Second of all, they don't have the fighters. Third of all, they're not willing to invest and give him better opponents like at least a Kell Brook. They don't want to spend money to promote him. They rather focus their attention on other fighters. They rather promote even other network fighters more than they promote their own. So if your own homie, your own little brother Shakur complaining about Top Rank already, take notes and dip out of ESPN, because your old promoter taking 8% of your purse on top of Bob Arum. So it's a no-brainer at this point. His contract should be up by the end of the year. So it's just good every time you hear a fighter confirm what you've been saying, because like I said before, fans will bring up Crawford to hate on Errol, and vice versa, just because these two guys probably be all their favorite fighters, and that's why they use each other to hate on each fighter. But like I state time and time again, I peep people that do that, and at the end of the day, Terrence Crawford must make the right decision and go to the PBC, and then the PBC fighters won't have no excuse not to fight him. And he will get the big fights, because these fighters will be forced to fight at Terrence Crawford. But Crawford, on the other hand, he has to make the right decisions that will lead him to an Errol Spence fight, that will lead him to fighting these big names in the welterweight division. And that's by going to the PBC. If Terrence Crawford re-signs with Top Rank and ESPN after the way they treated him and focus on Tyson Fury and Lomachenko and Lopez more than they focus on him, and PBC got better production as far as promoting fights, etc., etc., and he rather stick with ESPN, and I could, there's no loyalty because they not even doing their job. So if he does that, people will start saying is Terrence Crawford is avoiding the smoke, not the other way around. So we'll see. Subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumb about a second, don't listen to these casual fans. And like I always say, follow Lontoon Boxing on Instagram in the description box below for the funniest boxing memes. That's my guy. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube at Aki TV in the description box below, and click on the notification bell to get notified every time we go live and to be continued on the next episode of Aki TV. Peace, and we out.